Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So y'all know that we're now all kind of patiently waiting who's going to be Shannon Sharpe's replacement on Undisputed. Ever since the news came out that Shannon Sharpe will be leaving Fox Sports via buyout, and his time with the network will come to an end after the NBA Finals. So basically, that's like in 2 weeks, give or take, right? It could even be sooner, week and a half, who knows, right? So we know this. I think it was a bit of news that surprised a lot of people, but then a lot of people kind of saw it coming at the same time, based on how things were kind of playing out between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe on TV. It was going beyond the point of entertainment to just flat out cringy, disrespectful sports debates. Like it was getting really disrespectful, and a lot of the disrespect, if I'm being candid with you guys, came from Skip Bayless' side, and he did it on a few occasions. And I think Skip Bayless' unapologetic nature will start to turn a lot of people off, because when you know you're clearly in the wrong, and by doubling down on it, like the Damar Hamlin thing, when he was like, "I support my comments," it's like, what the hell are you talking about? You support why do you support it, right? And then the following day, he was forced to basically come out there and apologize, or basically speak by himself, or whatever it was. So a lot of us out here have been speculating, hey, listen, is this drama between these two guys, is it hurting the show's ratings, right? Because I think there's a fine line between acceptable drama and unacceptable drama. Acceptable drama is Chris Mad Dog Russo, JJ Redick to a certain extent, those guys, or Stephen A. Smith and Chris Mad Dog Russo. Unacceptable drama is when JJ Redick takes personal shots at Stephen A. Smith. That's unacceptable. Acceptable is when you kind of go back and forth with topics, but it's never personal, right? Because then you cross the line and it becomes cringy, becomes disgusting. It's like mudslinging. And I think that turns a lot of people off. So this morning I was going through the internet and I came across an article here that it's highlighting basically how this fractured relationship between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless actually at one point started to hurt the ratings of the show this year. So I want to get into this article. It's from frontofficesports.com. Starts off with the headline, "Embrace debate. Is this the beginning of the end of Skip Bayless? Bayless could split with partner Shannon Sharpe." That's what they said. "Will Damar Hamlin tweets damage his future?" Now this report was published on January this year, but I thought the reason it was important to produce it because it's kind of showing us how we got here, right? So basically, this report basically talks a little bit about Skip Bayless' contract and all of that. Then it talks about the blow up between him and Shannon Sharpe. It talks about the nature of the show, and then it gets to a part where it talks about how people started to react to Skip Bayless after the Damar Hamlin situation. He said, where even Des Bryant said, "I hope you lose your job," former Dallas Cowboy. He said that about Skip Bayless. And then it went to the part where they started talking about how it started to affect the ratings. So listen to this. It goes, ex-FS1 personality Jason Whitlock accused both Bayless and Sharpe of milking the tragedy. "This is all peak grifting by all parties. Skip, Shannon, and the Fox outrage towards Skip," Whitlock tweeted. "It's all grifting." Then the article continues on. It says, "However, this week's ratings may not reflect Whitlock's characterization. Monday's Undisputed show had 232,000 viewers compared to 373,000 for the show's competitor ESPN First Take, according to ShowBuzzDaily.com. But there was a very noticeable difference the day after Skip Bayless' tweet, where Undisputed fell to 165,000 viewers, while First Take saw a significant boost with 892,000 viewers. Wednesday saw Undisputed's reach 220,000 viewership compared to First Take's at 540. Fox declined to comment on this story. Bayless is reportedly under contract at FS1. So what does this report tell us? Well, this report tells us that this particular blow up was a long time coming. A long time coming. that there's a fine line between entertainment and then when you just flat out cross the line. And I think that this relationship between Skip and Shannon, I think the way it was deteriorating in the background, I think a lot of people were beginning to pick up on it. I think another thing worth noting is that you could tell that there may have been a steady decline based on some of the topics, the subject matter. The fact of the matter is this: Undisputed is starting to become a very boring show. It's starting to become very, very predictable, and I'll tell you why. Because they talk about the same things all the time. You can almost predict. There are going to be 3 or 4 topics that are always going to be discussed. And it seems like it started to become a crux. Because it's like, we got to talk about this thing today, even if there's nothing interesting to say. And it would go as far as saying, oh, you saw LeBron James sitting on the side of the sideline drinking wine. What do you think LeBron means by drinking wine? After a while, people see through that and they're like, bro, you don't have anything else interesting to say? It was either going to be LeBron James, the Lakers, Tom Brady, or the Dallas Cowboys forever. And that's the reason why I think ESPN First Take, I think that's the more interesting show, because they have a wider range of topics, right? They have a wider range of topics. They're not really talking about one thing every single day. Them and Undisputed may talk about 1 or 2 things on that particular day if it's a big enough story. But usually ESPN First Take has just a wider range of things to discuss. This is just my personal view. I think their topics are much broader. I think the fact that they have a rotating cast keeps things fresh. They're always talking about different things, have different opinions on there. And to me, I think that's the more interesting show. Now, ESPN First Take has always kind of been leading the way when we're talking about these 2 shows, but it's showing you that, people are growing tired of this. They're growing tired of it. And also, we got to touch on this other point before we close here. This embrace debate format, this thing of where, okay, I'm going to take a position, you're going to take a position, and we're going to shout at each other. I think that may be going out of style pretty soon. The whole shouting match, and I'm shouting at you and you're shouting at me and we're going to shout at each other. I think people are also getting tired of that. I think people are now looking for great sports conversations without the shouting and the hoop of the hollering and you feel this way. And I think people are getting tired of it. And you see a lot of people out there in the independent space kind of creating these shows where it's not contentious. I think the person obviously doing it the best is Pat McAfee, although now he's joining big media. But I looked at some of Pat McAfee's shows. It's just one big conversation with various people. I looked at the Dan Le Batard show. That's what it is that you have there. You look at the Gilbert Arenas podcast now. These guys are not really up there shouting at each other and banging on the table and all of that, because people don't want to see that no more. It's messy. This is becoming messy, right? It's no longer entertaining. It's like, okay, bro, we get it. Like, okay, we get it. You support this guy. You support that guy. But enough is enough, right? So I think by, Undisputed losing Shannon Sharpe, I think that's a big loss. I don't see anyone on the network that could bring what he brought to the show, because Shannon brought a number of things. Although Skip has the expertise, obviously he's been in the industry for a long period of time. But Shannon also brought his own part, which is the energy. Shannon Sharpe brought a lot of energy to that show. He brought a lot of enthusiasm. He brought all the humor. And dare I say, on most occasions, Shannon Sharpe brought the logic. He brought the logic. Recently, Skip Bayless just went out there and looked at the game that, Nikola Jokic had in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. 41-point game. Called the guy a bucket of Crisco. Basically saying the guy didn't play well. A lot of people came out and roasted him for that. Like, yo, bro, why are you saying these things? These things are turning people off. So I think this has been a long time coming, right? And I expect to see a hit. Similarly to the way you saw a hit when Max Kellerman ultimately left ESPN First Take. There was an initial hit, but this has been something happening over months now, right? This kind of steady decline. So this report really doesn't surprise me. It just shows me essentially how we got here. So the question to the audience is simply this: do you think the next replacement, or the person that's slated to replace Shannon Sharpe, is going to be able to bring a jolt to the ratings of Undisputed moving forward? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.